Everyone, it's Gordon Einstein, your Dubai local crypto attorney and YouTuber, featuring some extremely short hair. Maybe you don't recognize me. Things have evolved. I have a very special guest today. My good friend, who I'm always massacre his last name because I got a problem apparently. But Dr. Adel Elmessiry. Am I saying this correctly?
That's right. Yes.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
Perfect.
We had a breakthrough. Okay. Before recording, we were just saying, like, people always call me like Einstein or something. And I'm like, oh, is that? Okay. Fine. We got it right. So, but to me, he's Adele or even Dr. Adele. So we're going to do not the usual full length video. We're going to do a fast 10, 15-minute thing because Dr. Adele is in a very cool place doing a very cool thing. And why don't you take a couple of seconds to introduce yourself or a minute or so to introduce yourself? And then I'm going to kind of hand you the microphone and just let you talk about what you're doing. I'll jump in when I have a question, but you're articulate and you know what you're saying. So, Dr. Adele, who are you and where are you? What are you doing?
Hey, everybody. It's always a pleasure to be speaking with you, my dear friend Gordon. And my name is Dr. Adel Elmessiry. I have a PhD in machine learning, AI, and trust networks. Trust networks became blockchain, and my world got flipped upside down. So I've been hanging on airplanes, talking at conferences, meeting with private banks about custody, and Prime Minister addressed the EU Parliament subcommittee in person in Brussels before the pandemic, and been at the birthplace of a lot of chains, protocols, contributed a lot in the field of blockchain. I published a ton of papers, supervised students at the AUC that are doing cutting edge research in either blockchain or AI,
Mhm.
and also got into startups at the end of the 90s because they said, we can do whatever the fork you want to do. Just make it happen, make it happen. I did. Startup got acquired. I got hooked up on startup life. So 30 years later, three successful exits. One is a unicorn, and two flops, and life unrepentant serial entrepreneur and world traveler, world speaker, and just try to do cool stuff and meet cool people like you.
Thank you for that plug. And let's dive into where are you and what are you doing there?
Fantastic. So right now I am in Riyadh at the King Abdulaziz International Conference, and it's an amazing venue. So with
It looks
a lot
beautiful.
of
You kind of showed me a little bit of it yesterday.
yes,
It's very ornate and
yes,
interesting.
and look, here is traditional Arabic hospitality.
Hmm.
So I'm getting a little bit of the Arabic coffee here. And the place is amazing. You can see like the opulence of it. It's like the coolest thing that I've ever. Uh, Here you can see the IGF. It's a United Nations Internet Governance Forum in Riyadh. And I have
Really?
to tell you, this fair,
I didn't catch that
yeah,
before. So this is an internet governance forum
yep.
where you are. Oh, that's
So this,
intriguing.
yeah, yes, it has been created by a mandate of the United Nations to try to coordinate internet when it started growing internationally. So things like the ICANN and other bodies from different countries that come together to figure out how we can facilitate that and how can we grow it and make it much more accessible for users around the world, and also organization, cybersecurity, all of those topics. And the coolest thing here is that it's being held in the same venue that holds the Arab League. The Arab League is an organization that fosters collaboration between Arabic nations.
Hmm.
So they kind of like think of it as the EU Parliament, or kind of like those bigger organizations that get together. So they actually meet here in the same room. And I cannot do it justice, so I'm going to switch to the other camera just so you can see. This is the
Hmm.
main reception hall. Amazing details. You feel like you are in a basilica, you know? Here is the schedule for the conference. And then this room that we are about to go in is the actual room that they do meetings. If you look in
You know what?
videos,
I want to make you
you'll
full
see
screen if I
that.
can because what you're doing is cool. Let me see if I can do that. Probably shouldn't have said it and
Yeah.
just done it.
So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
okay. Not easily. But, all
look at
right,
the
go
amazing
ahead. Wow.
look at the amazing views here.
I've never been to
I mean,
Saudi, and
this is
now you're
just
motivating me.
come on over, come on over. And we have lots of workshops here going on, lots of exhibitions
Hmm.
besides the actual main one, which is on the other side of the room. And here in the center, you have like talks by Professor Su Yan, talking about the different aspects of integration in the systems. And we have a full packed schedule. This is day 3 of it, but you can see all the different talks happening.
Sure.
Myself, I'm having a session tomorrow actually about the AI that we want to have, the trust in AI and so forth. But it's really cool, really amazing venue to be at.
That's super. So tell me your vision. I mean, it's kind of it's cool that you're in the building where the Arab League is housed or has this meeting. Tell me, I'm in Dubai. You're there. This seems to be like a very dynamic region. Can you, in non-fluffy terms, like specific as you can get, what's the vision for integration and success piece? If that's applicable, economic
Yes.
development, tech, just what's the vibe? What's the feeling? What's the plan?
Yeah, I'm glad that you've asked this question. So, in the opening ceremonies, we had His Highness, the Minister of Communication, come and deliver a beautiful talk about the vision for Saudi Arabia under the auspices of His Highness Prince Salman. And they basically are focusing right now on how do they deliver economical prosperity. And in his talk, he talked about the global north and the global south, and how that for every dollar generated in the global south, there's $3.5 generated in the global north
Sorry,
per capita.
$3.5. What was the verb?
Uh, generated by,
Generated. Okay, got it.
uh, yeah,
Okay, I
per
understand.
capita.
Okay.
Yeah, so you mean for every individual, because the global south is a larger population than the global north, but their GDP, the generated wealth is kind of like almost on par. So for every dollar generated in the global south,
Mm,
there is 3.5 dollar generated in the global north, and that gap that existed is exacerbated by technology. So because the technology is not proliferated equally between the different parts of the hemispheres. So the vision here is how can we use emerging technologies such as AI and blockchain, but the focus of this session, I was quite pleasantly surprised on AI
mm,
to close this gap. And we are in such an interesting point in history where the technology of AI is just about to become a global powerhouse. So how do we enable the global south of taking advantage of that? So one example of this is the AI is energy hungry, data hungry,
yeah.
and from an energy point of view, the region led by the Saudi Arabia has a lot of energy resources. So how can we utilize those energy resources to generate more energy? So I was quite pleased to see the direction and how their vision for 2030 is fostering those, not only like by talks, but actually by deeds and actions. So adopting new technologies, adopting companies, providing them support, which is really, really great.
Let me ask you, you're touching on a sensitive issue, but I think it's one that needs to get addressed. Sure, Saudi and a lot of countries around there are energy superpowers, but they're at the moment energy superpowers because of hydrocarbons. And
Yes.
there's a global movement towards electric, and there's obviously everyone complains about the power that Bitcoin consumes, though I think, in my point of view, it's socially warranted. Yes, there's a lot of power there, but as you pointed out, AI requires a lot of power. And if are we going to use hydrocarbons to fuel these data centers? Is that the move we should be doing right now?
So one other great source of power in the region is the solar energy
Sure.
and wind energy. So there are a lot of investments into those fields. That's number one. And also, like shameless plug, one of the companies that I'm an advisor for is doing power generation out of natural gas. So they condense natural gas into gasoline and others
Sure.
with very low impact on the environment, which means that we will be able of reducing the footprint generated by hydrocarbons on the global environment. We're not eliminating it yet, but it's much better than before.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. And then what do you see? I mean, it is the house of the Arab League. It's not the Saudi house. What do you see in terms of regional integration?
So that's also was quite astonishing to see. We have lots of we have a parliamentary track, so lots of diplomats, parliament members are here. I had the pleasure of speaking with a lot of them from the Arab nations, and they are now opening up to collaboration and looking at integrating the region within the global economy, meaning how do we help kind of bring in minds, knowledge, investors, and entrepreneurs into the region so that they can benefit from it. And if you look at the Arabic region, you can see that there is a lot of energy resources, wealth
Yes.
in the Gulf, but there is also a lot of human capital in places like Egypt, Algeria, and the combination of those two together allows you to develop that region for the betterment of the entire globe. So that's kind of like the mentality is how can we collaborate together so that we can all benefit from the economical collaboration and reduce conflicts, reduce all the stress that is happening right now and build a better world, maybe not for us, but for our children.
Well, hopefully for us, though I have a kid on the
Yes.
way. We're not that old.
Well, for your kid. Yes. I
We're
have
not,
three children.
how about this? Let's you and I'm not, knock on wood and, inshallah, I'm not planning on checking out anytime soon. So
Yes,
let's build a better world
that's
for
a
us
plan.
and our kids. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely, 100%, 100%. So that collaboration and the discussion that I had with parliamentary from the region, from EU, was a lot of hopeful direction that within the next few years we'll be able of reducing the conflict and fostering more collaboration. And it's driven by economical needs to have a better world that we can all live in together instead of trying to fight for the resources. We all know that we have one planet, so we need to keep that planet and extend it. And like in blockchain, that shows you that there are no borders really. If you have an idea
Sure.
and you create it, the sky is the limit.
True. Now you're obviously not merely attending, you have access. You have access to
Yes.
decision makers, influencers, like the real kind of influencer, not the Kim Kardashian. Well, she's actually doing well for herself, so I shouldn't hate. Um, she learned. I had this conversation recently, like learning how to monetize attention is actually a skill. So good for her. But
Yes.
you have access to governmental influencers and people at a high level and official type people. How did you? Obviously, you're great and you're educated and you're active, but not everyone has those doors open. So just for our audience, what was your sort of life path that you had their ear? Maybe there's some
So
lessons in there.
yeah, my life path is, or the advice is, do the right thing first. So focus on the right thing, meaning that in my life, I try to kind of like do the right thing first before kind of looking at what's in it for me, and that has came back in droves. So an example of that is, I've been a member of the GBA, which is the Government Blockchain Association out of DC, Washington, DC. They focus on fostering awareness of blockchain with governmental organizations. Been there for a few years, lots of talks, panels with regulators and politicians in the US and beyond. So that kind of like started to set the stage. And me being doing research, supervising students, you can see the trip, supervising students, doing research, getting involved with the Government Blockchain Association, and just helping with then the Internet Governance Forum and the coalition that came out from there, putting the time, putting the knowledge forth, helping the members. It all culminated into building trust and people understanding that I am here not to try to get a quick benefit out of it, but really to try to help with what's going on there. So gradually became a trusted source of asking for this way or that way and give some guidance. And that started to communicate more. And my goal is to be able of helping the decision makers, the ministers, the governments, the parliamentary, to understand what is blockchain, what is AI, because man is the enemy of what it does not understand. So instead of kind of like, oh, blockchain is bad, it's all cryptocurrency degenerates and all the stuff. And yeah, I am
You teach in like it's
no
a
strange.
bad thing, man.
Yeah, well, that's the perception. But kind of like, so I tell them, yeah, I trade in tokens. So I know how to do that. And it's not all bad. Here is what's happening here, and here is the path for, financial freedom and how you control all stuff. How can you use that
Right,
for even government?
let me just recap for a second. So orienting on the question of how you made your inroads in and got the ears of semi-governmental or top level people. What I'm hearing you, let me repeat it back, and then maybe you can comment and correct me. What I'm hearing from you is you started off by doing the right thing, which I like that answer. And then it sounds like you got involved with and meaningfully contributed towards organizations or associations that matter and sort of developed
Right,
your voice and contributed over time. And then
correct.
did you just happen to be in the room with these people and formed a relationship, or you reached out to them, they reached out to you? Like give us a like how do you have the meeting?
Yeah,
They call you, you call them,
yeah.
or you guys know each other from before.
Uh, so the um, so the research is because of my PhD. The
Sure.
students is the same thing with the reputation. And for example, at the AUC, I started setting up blockathon. So that got introduction to the professors there, the group, the students. They like that. They said like, "Hey, I would like you to supervise those students." Those students graduated nicely, and then that became a thing, and then been in a lot of conferences, cross path with the GBA. What are you guys doing? And they said, okay, we have a conference upcoming there. Would you like to come and attend? So, like, I would like to speak. So they said, like, great, fill in this form, and I became a speaker. Joined the organization, spoke several times when I went, and all of that on my own dime. So I on my own time. So I go, spoken at the conferences, did several panels, moderated several panels, and that's how I started meeting with politicians and decision makers. And they need to see you in those events several times, understand that you are on your message. This is who you are, and not kind of like, just what's the flavor of the day. And that
The
basically started to
consistency,
build on top of each other.
consistency is showing up
Yes,
and being in the room with them, and then getting
yes,
used to it. It's like, hey, Dr. Adele, good to see you again. Good to see you're doing the
yes,
same thing.
yes. And
Good
in
answer.
most of those cases, I'm not asking for something. I'm just trying to help. It's kind of like, hey, what about this? How can I help that? Things happen naturally. So after a few of those, it's kind of like, hey, we have a project here, or we need somebody to give us a consultation there, and then that starts from it. It's similar to like before this, I was in leading a delegate at the World AI Summit in Doha, Qatar.
Mhm.
So the same approach there. Talk to decision makers. I did not know anybody at that level, but being in the conference with their emphasis on AI as well helped a lot. So if any lessons for anybody that is thinking they want to do the same thing is, be consistent, do the right thing, reach out to different organizations that are trying to do the right thing, so that jives with your message in it, and put in the effort, put in the time. You have time, you can do it. Apply, go and try to join those organizations, just like Bit Angels. So You and I are both like city leaders, so that's the same thing. Bitin just tries
I
to
think I
foster.
need to be a little bit more of a leader with my city, but yes, thank you. Thanks.
Yes. So I'm the same with Nashville, and Nashville is another interesting thing. So I'm a board member at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center.
Hmm.
That's 14,000 entrepreneurs that went through the center, 400 million plus in revenue generated by those entrepreneurs. And it's a semi-government backed kind of thing. We got grant from state of Tennessee. And what we focus on is helping entrepreneurs. So that jives with my missions, unpaid position. I'm just there to donate my time and help with the organization. So when Bitcoin conference was scheduled in Nashville by Bitcoin Magazine, David Lee, um, I basically said, okay, great, let's bring the Nashville Entrepreneur Center with the Bitcoin magazine and the BTC and started working, putting both those together, and then started putting out to my community, hey, I'm doing sessions here. And the end result was we had 7 sessions in 3 days all revolving around blockchain, AI, impact, charity, and all of that in the Entrepreneur Center. And what we expected to have few hundred people, we had few thousand people come through. So all the Bitcoin crowd came in. Trump came and gave a speech in Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and the rest is history. So all of the stuff started to grow further and mushroom into its own life. So you can see the pattern. Do the right thing, try to help, be optimistic, push through it, and then things will start to happen.
Love it. I think that's a great note to end on. And I'm going to upload this today and we'll add some links and
Yeah,
some points of interest. You and I can work on that after the recording. And Dr. Adele, thank
yeah.
you so much. I love your background. It's super.
It's amazing background, and I'm very happy to, and also wanna thank the Kingdom for hosting us here. That I'm gonna be speaking tomorrow, so you can dial in on online for anybody that is not here to see the talk in it. And I'm gonna be talking about my own vision for how do we collaborate and foster AI through AI Value Protocol, AIVP.ai.
Hmm.
So shameless plug, go visit and participate. And it embodies my same views of like doing the right thing and creating a community together around AI so that no AI is left behind.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, cool. I'm going to stop the recording. Well done.